Hey, this is Mark. I'm a chef living in Paris. Restaurants are closed here, so I've been doing a lot of cooking from home lately. So I thought I'd share some of what I'm eating with you. Today we're going to be making a tartare. That's raw beef, which means very limited usage of the stove. That's great if you don't have many appliances in your kitchen. We're going to be making our own ketchup today to dress the tartare. This is actually the only piece of this recipe that involves any cooking with heat. There are a lot of ways to make a ketchup. The one I'm going to be making today uses tomato paste, simple tomato sauce, some red wine, onion, sugar, garlic, and vinegar. There are a lot of different ways to make a tartare. I use capers, cilantro, chive, shallot, and hazelnut in mine, but there are a lot of other ways you can do it. We're not doing any cooking here, so all of the work is in the preparation. You want to cut all of these things so that you can get everything on one spoon. For these shallots, I'm going to try to cut them as thinly as possible. So I'm going to slice a little bit across. Then along the whole shallot. And then across again. Next up, we've got our capers. Mince those up. These hazelnuts are just going to get cut in half. That took forever. Alright, now that we're finally done with these hazelnuts, I'm going to start cutting the herbs. This goes a lot faster, fortunately. Cutting chives is one of my favorite things. I love making condiments at home. The secret to good cooking is having a well-stocked pantry. We're only going to use a couple tablespoons of this ketchup we're making today, so you'll have lots left over. It'll last in the fridge for months, and you can use it on all kinds of things. So we've got a hot pan here. The first thing we're going to do is saute some onions and garlic that we cut up earlier. We're waiting for these onions to get really translucent, and then we will add some more ingredients. Okay, so I let it go a little too long. These are burning here, so I'm going to quickly add this red wine. And then I'm going to let all of the alcohol go out of there, all of the water boil out. And once this is a nice syrupy consistency, then I'm going to add some more stuff. I'm also going to add the sugar now, and that will dissolve pretty quickly. Okay, so next up we're going to add the vinegar. I'm using a sherry vinegar. Just a splash. I forgot to mention earlier, I also use Worcester sauce in this. Salt. This is the consistency we're looking for. You can see when I move my spoon here, you can see the bottom of the pan for 2 or 3 seconds, and it slowly moves back in there. I'm going to add the tomato concentrate now. Squeeze that out like toothpaste. And then the last thing we're going to add here is the tomato sauce. The reason I added tomato sauce and tomato concentrate is to get a nice thick texture. Now we're just going to let this simmer for 5 to 10 minutes, and that's all. A A lot of you might not feel too comfortable eating raw beef. It is perfectly safe though. The trick is to get fresh, good quality meat. That doesn't mean the most expensive meat. If you have a knowledgeable butcher that you can access, that is really helpful. I bought this meat this morning. I went in and I said I was making a tartare for 2 people, and I was pointed in the right direction. We're gonna be cutting this up into really small pieces, so you don't need a filet mignon or a New York strip or anything too expensive. I had my butcher cut the meat into thin slices like this. To start off, you're gonna take that piece and you're gonna cut it into long strips. Having a sharp knife is really helpful. It'll give you nice, clean cuts. You can cut the piece in half to make it more manageable. So once you have your strips cut, you can take these individual pieces, 2 or 3 at a time, and then you just cut across. And that leaves you with these little cubes here that are bite-sized pieces for the tartare. The goal is to make sure all of these strips are about the same size. The size of the cube we're shooting for here is about 1 to 2 centimeters by 1 to 2 centimeters. So keep that in mind when you're making these strips. Since we're not using this meat right away, I'm going to drizzle a little bit of oil on this. That's going to prevent it from oxidizing and turning brown, and it'll keep it fresh for a little bit longer. This is raw meat, so we're gonna put it in the fridge until we're ready to use it. Traditionally, tartare is made with raw egg yolk. You can take it or leave it, but I'm gonna put it in mine today. So we're gonna go ahead and separate the yolks from the whites. Always do this with 2 bowls. I've learned that the hard way. Here we go. We've done all the prep, hard part's over. We're gonna mix all of this stuff together now. This whole thing is basically just a giant meat salad. Really simple to put together. Start off with our nice meat cubes. Add some olive oil. You can be pretty generous with this. Salt. Our homemade ketchup. Hazelnuts. Capers. Shallots, herbs, and the egg yolks. Mix this all together. Need salt. Okay, we're ready to plate everything up now. I found this giant tub of tiny little French fries at the butcher this morning and just had to have them. So we're gonna have that with the tartare today. I've also got some nice green herbage. I'm using this cookie cutter mold to shape the tartare. That'll look really nice when we're done. Big reveal. Get fries on there. Some greens, a little bit of pepper. And then I'm just gonna top that off with some of the leftover herbs from before. There it is. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed and hope you are now confident enough to try that out at home yourself.